I hereby call to order the 17th meeting of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission for the year 2015 and ask that you rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. As you can see, we are all in different locations today. And I wanted to say before we begin our formal proceedings, the reason why we were in different locations is because we have a new commissioner. And I just want to welcome Andrew Place, who is our newest commissioner. He was confirmed yesterday by the Senate unanimously. And he is here in the audience today with his wife and his son. Just wanted to outline for you, we know that he's going to be confirmed later on today, but just wanted to give you the wealth of knowledge and background that he has and he will bring to the commission. Before coming here officially today, he was the Energy and Environmental Policy Director of EQT Corporation, which is based in Pittsburgh. He's a family farmer in Greene County, right next to Fayette County, where my family's from. A former acting Deputy Secretary of the Department of Environmental Protection, former research fellow at Carnegie Mellon University, Department of Engineering and Public Policy. I will be saying more about him when he gets sworn in later on this morning, but I did want to just acknowledge him and welcome his family that is here today. His wife, Stacy, and his son, Adrian, is here with him today. If they could just stand and be recognized. As I stated earlier, Commissioner Place will not be sworn in until later this morning, but we are going to extend an invitation to him and come and sit with us today. He will not be voting, but it will be more ceremonial, and we just welcome him to the bench. I also have another introduction I'd like to make before we go into our formal business. We have a visiting commissioner here with us today from New Jersey. That is Commissioner Upendra Chivukula. Got that pronunciation correct? He is here today attending the RISA conference, and so we welcome him. He also has a staff person with him, Ramon Johnson. If you could please stand and be recognized as well. We thank him for getting up early in order to be able to come to our meeting today. So as we go into our formal business, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Whitmer, who is the editor of the minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week, I was reviewing the minutes of the September 3rd public meeting with Pope Francis, and he said that with 3 and possibly 4 commissioners with Western Pennsylvania sports affinity, that not even he could help the Philadelphia Eagles. But fortunately, we were able to successfully review the minutes. So on behalf of Papa Francis and me, I do submit the minutes for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitmer. Do we have a second?
Second.
Everyone was in awe that she met the Pope.
And by the way, I was not seconding that after the jab on Philadelphia. And for the record, the Pope could have gone anywhere. He shows the city of brotherly love.
Because they needed the most help.
This is all part of the discussion on the minutes, right? So we have a motion by Commissioner Whitmer, second by Vice Chairman Coleman. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0. We will call up our Director of our Office of Special Assistance, Cheryl Walker Davis, to lead us through our agenda for today.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
May it please this honorable commission, on behalf of your various offices and bureaus, we present for your consideration and disposition the following agenda items, commencing this morning with matters on behalf of the Bureau of Audits. It is recommended in omnibus fashion that the commission adopt the recommendations, commencing with the recommendation to release the audit report of the Metropolitan Edison Company with regard to the smart meter technology charge, appearing at the top of page 1. And continuing with all of the items on pages 1 and 2 through and including the recommendation to release the audit report in the proceeding involving Pike County Light and Power Company's system benefits charge.
Do we have a motion to accept the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Powelson, second by Commissioner Whitmer. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0.
On behalf of the Office of Competitive Market Oversight, commencing on page 3 of the public meeting agenda, it is recommended that the commission adopt the 3 recommendations appearing on page 3. They pertain to, on behalf of PECO Energy Company, PPL Electric Utilities Corporation, and the First Energy Companies, that being Metropolitan Edison Company, Pennsylvania Electric Company, Penn Power, and West Penn Power, recommendations with regard to what's known as seamless moves, which is the ability of a customer to move to an electric supplier without interruption to a new address in the same service territory, as well as instant connects, which is the ability of a service supplier to start on day 1 at a new utility address without the customer first going through a default service provider. It is recommended that the commission adopt all of those OCMO recommendations.
Do we have a motion to accept the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Whitmer, or Commissioner Powelson, excuse me. They've switched seats. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0.
Turning now to matters presented on behalf of the Office of Special Assistance, commencing on page 4 of the public meeting agenda. It is recommended, again in omnibus fashion, that the commission adopt the recommendations, commencing with the recommendation to grant the petition for reconsideration pending review of the merits of the NRG retail affiliates in the proceeding labeled as smart meter technology, and continuing with the remaining item on page 4, as well as the items on pages 5. And the first item on page 6, that being the recommendation in the complaint proceeding involving Rashida Pickett versus Philadelphia Gas Works.
Do I have a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Whitmer, second by Commissioner Powelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
In the complaint proceeding involving Richard and Sandy Lahette versus PPL Electric Utilities Corporation, there's the motion of Vice Chairman Coleman.
Do I have a motion to call up the staff recommendation for consideration?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Powelson, second by Commissioner Whitmer. And I will turn to Vice Chairman Coleman for his motion.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd ask that my motion be entered into the record as though I had read it in its entirety. Before the Commission for consideration and disposition are the exceptions to the PPL Electric Utility Corporation's initial decision. The initial decision sustains the formal complaint and directs PPL not to remove a line of ornamental pear trees located within PPL's transmission line right-of-way on the complainant's property. The transmission line at issue is a 69 kV line serving one customer. Upon review of the record evidence and the applicable law, my motion proposes to grant PPL's exceptions in part and deny them in part. Although PPL appears to have reasonable vegetation maintenance policies and procedures in place for 69 kV transmission lines, I believe the complainant met their burden of proof that the trees in question should not be removed from the property at this time. I commend PPL for seeking to address critical reliability issues by taking a more active vegetation management approach with 69 kV lines. I encourage PPL to continue to follow the more active approach with its low voltage transmission systems. At this time, PPL must still act reasonably under Section 1501 of the code when carrying out vegetation management plans and actually performing the work. Here, I do not believe PPL justified its arguments to remove the ornamental pear trees in question. I emphasize that the outcome of this motion is fact-sensitive and is based on a unique set of facts and circumstances from the record in the case. The most important of these unique facts and circumstances include that the line in question is not critical to the reliability of bulk power system and that the record does not adequately explain why the trees in question were incompatible and presenting danger that required the trees to be removed. Therefore, I move that the exceptions of PPL Electric Utility Corporation be granted in part and denied in part consistent with this motion, and that the initial decision be modified consistent with this motion, and that the Office of Special Assistance prepare an opinion order consistent with this motion.
We have a motion by Vice Chairman Coleman to amend the staff recommendation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Whitmer. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0. On the staff recommendation as amended by the motion, any further discussion? If not, we'll take the previous roll call of 4-0.
Continuing with the presentation of agenda items and matters on behalf of the Office of Special Assistance, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the recommendations commencing with the recommendation in the application proceeding involving the Artesian Water Pennsylvania, Inc. at the bottom of page 6, continuing with all items appearing on pages 7, 8, and 9, and concluding with the recommendation in the proceeding involving the interconnection agreement of the United Telephone Company of Pennsylvania, DBA CenturyLink, and AT&T Corporation.
Do I have a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Powelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0.
And turning now to matters presented on behalf of the Bureau of Technical Utility Services. Again, in omnibus fashion, we recommend the adoption of the items commencing with the first item at the top of page 10 and the proceeding involving the application of the Pennsylvania American Water Company to transfer by sale all of the water system property and rights of the McEwensville Municipal Authority to PAWC, continuing through the remaining recommendations on pages 10 and 11, 12, and 13, and concluding with the staff recommendation in the proceeding involving the application of network operator services for the discontinuance and abandonment of service.
Do I have a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Whitmer, second by Commissioner Powelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0.
That concludes the presentation of regular agenda items. Turning now to the carry-in agenda. It is recommended that the Commission adopt, on behalf of the Office of Administrative Law Judge, ALJ Jones's recommended decision in approving the settlement in the proceeding involving the PECO Energy Company's 3 proposals to increase access to natural gas service, noting the statement of Commissioner Whitmer.
Do I have a motion to accept the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Powelson. I would recognize Commissioner Whitmer for her statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'd like my statement entered into the record as if I had read it in its entirety. Today, we approved a settlement with modifications for 2 of PECO's 3 original proposals regarding the extension of natural gas. The first proposal is a change to the methodology by which prospective customers' required contribution in aid of construction is calculated. I would like to applaud PECO for some unique changes that they have offered to this, including changing their tariff to use a 40-year revenue period as opposed to a 15-year revenue period as it is in its current tariff. These changes better recognize the realities and the economics of natural gas service, making it more accurate, taking into account the useful life of the facilities and resulting in reduced CIAC for prospective customers. I believe that reducing the amount consumers would have to pay for connection to a gas main is critically important in removing the financial barriers to extension of natural gas service. The other unique change that PECO has made to its neighborhood gas pilot program, which is also designed to increase customer access to natural gas, is a 3-year, $4 million per year program that will allow customers to pay the contribution in aid of construction with a fixed monthly surcharge rather than an upfront lump sum payment. Some of the changes to this program that are different and unique from some of the other pilots that we have seen in the past include, of course, that longer payback period, but also that there is a 66% penetration rate that they will be looking for within the program, and that if the review of this on the anniversary, there is more of a penetration, then there will be a downward adjustment to the payments, but that there will never be an upward adjustment to the payment. So I congratulate PICO for this change that they are making to their pilot program. Today's action is another in a series of positive steps that are designed to afford Pennsylvania citizens every reasonable opportunity to avail themselves of the numerous benefits of natural gas. I reiterate my enthusiastic support for this proposal as well as the other pilot programs that we have already approved, and I continue to challenge the natural gas distribution companies in unserved or underserved areas to consider ways in which they can bring this homegrown fuel source to more of Pennsylvania's consumers. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitmer. Any further discussion? Commissioner Powson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would simply like to take this opportunity. I think you would all join me in this in recognizing the work and the advocacy from our Oversight Chairman, Godshaw, along with my fellow Chester County Representative Warren Camp, who has been very proactive in addressing this issue. As a PICO gas customer, I'm proud to say this is a great step forward in bringing gas to customers in underserved areas of Chester County. And I know the world does not revolve around Chester County, although we'd like to think so at times. To commend Commissioner Whitmer in this statement here this morning, because again, it was Senator Pileggi and Senator Yaw who wanted to move in a legislative construct. And after a number of meetings that we had, it's nice to see from UGI to PICO to other gas utilities now getting gas tariffs and gas beyond the main tariffs filed with us today. I think it's a great success story. And Commissioner Civicola, we'd be glad to share it with the Garden State here. I'm just making sure you're paying attention here this morning. And again, just want to take this opportunity again to thank our Oversight Chairman, Chairman Godshaw, and my fellow Chester County Representative Warren Camp for their advocacy on behalf of this filing.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 4-0.
Madam Chairman and Commissioners, that does conclude the presentation of agenda items.
Before we close out, I would like to recognize Commissioner Whitmer, who will give us a statement on Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
Thank you, Madam Chair. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and as we have done for the past several years in working with the Governor's Office, we would like to highlight the importance of cybersecurity in everyone's daily lives, not necessarily just from a business perspective, but in your personal life as well. Governor Wolf, has recognized the importance of this also and has issued a statewide proclamation declaring in Pennsylvania also, as well as nationally, that October will be Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We do have a short proclamation, and if you indulge me, I will read it on behalf of my colleagues. Whereas the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania recognizes that it has a vital role in identifying, protecting, and responding to cyber threats that may have significant impact on our individual collective cybersecurity and privacy. And whereas financial services, telecommunications, transportation, utilities, healthcare, and emergency response systems are increasingly reliant on technology, and whereas citizens, schools, government agencies, and businesses rely on the internet to conduct business, engage in commerce, access information, and communicate with family and friends. And whereas our everyday lives, our economic future, and the security of our nation are dependent on a safe and reliable cyber network. And whereas the Commonwealth encourages all citizens and all levels of government to take action against cyber attacks in our homes, workplaces, schools, and businesses. And whereas all Pennsylvanians can safeguard themselves against cyber hazards by utilizing security practices and implementing security preparedness measures such as the installation of antivirus and malware software programs. And whereas federal and state agencies, as well as the private sector, are working together to deter, prevent, and respond to all types of virtual threats to our personal and financial information. And whereas these activities, along with organizations like the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center, Governor's Office of Homeland Security, National Association of Chief Information Officers, National Cybersecurity Alliance, Pennsylvania's Office of Administration, the Emergency Management Agency, Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, the Stop, Think, Connect National Campaign, and others contribute to a level of community responsibility and cyber preparedness that is critical to securing our Commonwealth and our nation. And whereas, as we observe National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, I urge all citizens to participate in preparedness practices and to review the Commonwealth's cybersecurity website for more information. Therefore, I, Tom Wolf, Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim October 2015 as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I call upon all citizens of the Commonwealth to recognize the importance of taking appropriate measures to secure our cyber environment so that all citizens can take advantage of the digital information that is available to us to help expand our knowledge and to make technical advances in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitmer. We want to also thank her for all her hard work that she has done for the commission over the years on this very, very important issue of cybersecurity. And also, we have a staff work group that is in place looking at this issue and will assist us as commissioners in deciding what we need to do going forward. We also know that Commissioner Whitmer will be having a press conference with several different agencies at 11 o'clock today over in the Media Center in the Capitol. So if we have nothing else that comes before us today, we do want to recognize that our director, Davis, is wearing pink today because you know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we want to acknowledge that. Commissioner Place will be sworn in at 11 o'clock today, so give us the time to transition, and with nothing coming before us now, we will gavel out. Thank you.